You are watching a brand new Sports Fusion episode. My name is Alex Fuse. I am the host here tonight. We have a big show for you tonight. I've been trying to get this guy on. I'm very excited to have him on. James Allen, who is a Times Union sports editor here in upstate New York, who's been covering Class B sports since 1989, right?
Yeah, Section 2, 1989-90 was my first year covering the area.
So he's been around for a long time. It's great to have him here tonight. So, Mr. Allen, how are you doing tonight?
Doing great. Just working on prep for the state Final Four weekend coming up starting Friday.
Yeah. So with the basketball season ending soon, will you be covering high school baseball?
Absolutely. Baseball, softball, lacrosse, track, we'll be out there. We're doing some I'm involved with Time Warner. We're going to continue to do some spring sports on TV, some baseball, some lacrosse, and usually a softball game or two.
Cool. So with this baseball season starting up, the Shelmont Sabre baseball season starts in 28 days from today. So I know that you don't have probably looked over the Sabres roster, but how do you think this year will be in the Section 2 Class B baseball season?
Well, I think the Class Bs are going to be somewhat similar. I don't know if we're going to see quite the parity level we saw in the boys basketball this year, but Class B has been very competitive in recent years. They obviously the Sabres won a state championship a couple of years ago in Coach Anderson's last year, and I think that there's certainly enough people there in the pitching vein and certainly hitting that the Sabres are going to be a contender not only in the Colonial Council but certainly in the Class Bs as well. And it's been a level that in recent years, especially baseball wise, we've had some teams get to the Final Four, and I think that if we have a real strong team that does emerge and wins that championship, there's certainly a shot to get down to those last four that the basketball teams are enjoying this weekend.
And another team in the baseball section that you want to look at is Albany Academy. We have a few Albany Academy baseball players coming on the show coming up. So Albany Academy had a great season last year. Do you see them keeping up the great year they had last year this season?
Yeah, I think so, because you have the pitching there. They certainly were good last year, and Napick is a guy that I think a lot of people know about his game and what he's able to do. And anytime you have a lefty pitcher that can work with strikes on the way he can, and pretty crafty out there with certainly velocity as well. They're going to be a team, and Coach Ryder's done a great job with them, and I think you just talked about two teams that are going to be definitely in the mix in the Colonial Council, certainly, and definitely when it gets down to sectionals.
I just want to ask you, what is your favorite part of your job, as you are a very busy person? I follow you on Twitter, and it seems like you're everywhere. So what is your favorite part of your job?
It's kind of the way it is. The way the business has changed. I got in '89. There was no Twitter. There was no blogs. It was pretty much you went out and you covered an event, or you did a feature, and you really have to worry about the other things. And the aspect of Twitter now and doing blog and doing different things, it sort of opened up the business. It's changed the business in many ways, but it's an information business, and Twitter is an avenue that I use to let people know what's going on. A lot of people can't get to a game; they might have to work or whatever it is, and they can follow along. And especially now with technology, they can look on their phone and kind of follow along. And I've had people follow me from overseas, and they're guys. I know that there's been a few times where people are in the military and they're following along. They obviously can't be at a game, or they can't get back for various reasons, and so they follow along. And I've done blog things, and sometimes I've done cover it live and scribble stuff, question and answer while I'm doing games. That's gotten to be a little bit more difficult, and especially when you're doing multiple games in succession. Like for instance, this weekend I did it. Up and down, we had 4 games with the 10 girls and boys play back-to-back, then Troy, and then Argyle. And, I also have, obviously, obligations to write stories, and so that gets to be hard. So I just try to kind of limit it to, tweeting out what's going on in the games and keeping the blog updated with the scores of the games, quarter updates and, things that are happening in the game so people can follow along. And it's just the way the business is. You have to do multiple things, and that's the evolution of journalism.
Mm-hmm. And you just mentioned Shen, and wow, do those Shen basketball boy team just keep winning? So do you see Shen winning it all this season?
They're going to have their hands full, but they had a pretty easy time. Their biggest challenge last year in the state playoffs was not the state semifinal or the final. It was their quarterfinal game. They went to overtime. I covered those games out at Colgate with them, Bethlehem girls, and it was in Scotia. It was very interesting how that game played. They were down 9 late in the game, and they came back. And, they didn't really have that much of a challenge from Bishop Ludden, but I expect that this weekend will be a little more difficult for them than it was last year. It was pretty much a cakewalk for them once they got to the state final four. They pretty much, they weren't overly easy games, but you never really got the sense they were going to lose in either of those semifinal or final games last year. The Aquinas is a team that, basketball-wise, maybe Nate doesn't have the same reputation as their football program, but if anybody knows about their football program, they're a great team. They're a dominant program, and they have some of those football players on their basketball team. They're going to play a physical style and try to disrupt Shen's offensive rhythm, and certainly get out to the perimeter to try to disrupt them shooting threes. And I think if Shen gets through that game, I like their chances to win another state championship.
Okay, Mr. Allen, I want to say thank you for taking the time to come on tonight's show, and I'm happy to have you on and hope to have you on once again soon.
Anytime, Alex. Appreciate it.
Thank you.